The U.S. Open must be very special to you. It's the place where you won your first Grand Slam tournament. How are your feelings here on the court?
Well, I'm feeling great. Yeah, just getting ready, for of everything here. I think it's much different, from Cincinnati. But I just love playing here. I love the energy, the love from the people. I think they are super passionate about tennis. They love watching the matches. So I just feeling great. I just found the court really good. The ball's really good as well here as well. So just excited about the tournament began, and hopefully rewrite another history here in US Open.
Yeah. And how is the rivalry with Jannik Sinner? Because you guys have played in you won the last 7 Grand Slam tournaments together. How excited are you about playing Jannik Sinner all the time? Because the matches are great.
Well, I just love the most difficult battles.
Yeah.
And every time that I play against him, I know it's going to be a really difficult and tough battle. So I just love that. I accept it at the beginning of the match, and I just ready to play my best. I think for him as well. Every time we face against each other, we know that we have to play our best tennis if we want to win the match. So I'm just excited about it to put everything I've worked before on the mat just to beat it. That's exciting for me, and I just love every time that I played against him.
Tiafoe, blunt about Alcaraz and Sinner, you have to respect them, but not worship them. The American reflected on the great dominators of current tennis and showed his confidence ahead of the US Open. I think I can beat them. Most tennis fans approach the 2025 US Open with a clear feeling that Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, in whichever order you prefer, are the two big favorites for the title. Not only that, they are also the two great dominators of the circuit, capable of sharing all the Grand Slams over the past year and a half and imposing their rule when matches head into 5 sets. Such a scenario, of course, helps them build a certain aura before stepping onto the court, creating that aura of invincibility that has so often defeated many in the locker rooms. And that is a perception Frances Tiafoe wants to erase. Because Frances Tiafoe is not a guy who lacks confidence. Nor is he shy with words. He says what he thinks and expresses his ambitions, no matter how much the world might consider them almost impossible. A 2-time semi-finalist in Flushing Meadows, few rackets grow as much under the lights of Arthur Ashe, provoking a state of near excitement that shows through his words in a press conference, where he left a very interesting reflection on the Jannik Sinner-Carlos Alcaraz duopoly. This does not mean, of course, that Tiafoe belittles their achievements or wants to talk them down. Quite the opposite, he does not hesitate to point out that the task of beating them is monumental. But, on the other hand, he does not share the defeatist and overly admiring attitude he has seen in others. It is what it is. If you want to win a Grand Slam right now, you have to go through Jannik and Carlos. They are impressive players, very young, they are going to be at the top for a long time. However, you can't worship them. If we want to achieve special things, we have to beat them. And I believe I can do it. Analysis of an exciting rivalry. When asked in more detail about the rivalry between the Spaniard and the Italian, Tiafoe pointed out the differences that exist between the world number 1 and 2, not only in terms of tennis but even personality. They are very different. Jannik is the ice man, Carlos plays with the crowd and gets the fans involved. One hits the ball brutally, the other has an all-court game. They move incredibly well and all of that creates spectacular matches. It's fun to watch, and I know they're going to be up there for a long time. Francis was so candid that he even had no problem predicting who between the two will win more Grand Slams at the end of their careers. Honestly, it's super close, but if I had to choose, I'd go with Carlos. That said, I don't think they're going to dominate forever. At some point someone will interrupt them. And this comes from a guy who, give him credit where it's due, has always shown he can trouble the Mercian. Precisely here, in Flushing Meadows, he took him to a 5th set in the 2022 semifinals, a scoreline very similar to Wimbledon 2024, where he also posed the toughest test for Alcaraz throughout the tournament. Is Tiafoe right in his approach? Carlos Alcaraz makes a big change before the US Open. Carlos Alcaraz approaches this edition of the US Open in a very different situation compared to recent years, as he now has the chance to become world number 1 and avenge Jannik Sinner, but above all, he is much more motivated. Alcaraz's big bet at this stage of the year is the US Open. After winning it in 2022, He then went through 2 years where he wasn't able to get things right and suffered defeats, like the one delivered by Botic van de Zandschulp in 2024, but now the story is very different. The Mercian will arrive in New York after winning in Cincinnati and, above all, with one idea in his head: avenge Jannik Sinner after he took his Wimbledon crown. On top of that, there is a double prize, as if he wins the tournament, he will become the new world #1. To achieve this milestone, the Mercian heads into the tournament with a mindset completely unlike previous years. This year is very different. I had more time to rest, disconnect, and recharge. I was able to spend 2 weeks at home training, which gave me an extra boost of happiness and motivation before going to Cincinnati. The big difference is his mentality, as this time he seems much less saturated and more focused on tennis, thanks to the breaks he has taken throughout these months, which allowed him to rest and be fresher. I feel much more prepared than last year, when everything was much tighter and there were no days off between tournaments. Carlos Alcaraz says enough at the US Open. The Mercian, uncharacteristically, has shown tension over the presence of a camera before his debut at the last Grand Slam of the year. Carlos Alcaraz wants the ATP throne and it shows. The Mercian knows that everything is on the line at the US Open if he wants to return to world #1. That's why, seeing that he has a tough draw from the very first round, he doesn't want to give away a single clue to his rivals. And as a result, Alcaraz snapped and got upset over the presence of a fixed camera during his practices. The camera captured the moment when the Spanish player asked his team for explanations on a court in Flushing Meadows. Without a doubt, an unusual moment of tension for Carlos, who has always come across as natural and unafraid of the media. With his complaints, Carlos asked for a bit more privacy from the tournament organizers and ATP officials, who are trying to bring fans as close as possible to their idols by recording scenes and conversations that until now had never been heard. On the other hand, during Media Day, Alcaraz referred to his first obstacle on the road to conquering this major: "It's going to be a very tough match. I've never played against Opelka and we all know his style of play, so I need to be very focused on the return and ready. I must put as many returns in play as I can, and then we'll see, but right now my confidence is high. I'm ready and I feel very good on court." He also mentioned his early elimination with Raducanu in mixed doubles. "I would have liked to be better prepared to play, because that night I slept very little and couldn't prepare the way I wanted. Still, it was fun and the atmosphere was very good. Arthur Ashe was almost full and I liked the format, to be honest. We would have been better if we had prepared more, but it was fine." Sinner explains what happened to him in the Cincinnati final against Alcaraz. "Since yesterday, the Italian player wasn't feeling well and didn't improve before the final. He had to retire when he was about to lose the first set." Carlos Alcaraz was crowned champion of the Cincinnati tournament after Jannik Sinner retired. The Italian wasn't feeling well and couldn't continue in the match. From the first point it was clear something was wrong and he couldn't find his best level with the racket. After the match he explained what happened. "Since the night before he hadn't been feeling well and didn't improve. Since yesterday I wasn't feeling well. I thought I'd get better overnight, but I felt worse. Even so, I wanted to step on court to at least try to play a bit of the match, but I couldn't go on any longer," explained the world #1, who couldn't compete at any point during the match. He apologized to all the fans in attendance. "I'm really sorry. I know some of you even made a special effort to be here today, having to work or leaving other things aside, so I apologize and thank you very much for being here." Always elegant, Sinner congratulated Carlos on his victory. "Of course, Carlos, congratulations. Another title. Not the way you wanted, but it's an incredible season you're having. You and your whole team are doing a wonderful job. Keep it up. I wish you all the best for the US Open and the rest of the season," said the Italian before heading to the locker room.